Be the change. Be the change that you want to see in the world. I'm glad you didn't record that previous thing about Jesus, because I did get kicked under the table by my wife at the moment that I said my God, you have two rails, you're walking down the road. My wife's both those rails. I'm just going to stay on that road. So let's live this. Let's be this. Be the change you want to see in the world, as Gandhi said, Mother Teresa said, or echoed. So tonight, we're going to go back to the beginning. Because every once in a while, we're like a spiral. We're growing. But as we grow, spiral up in growth, we also have this downward spiral to backfill what we didn't really fill in the first place, what we missed. So when we grow, it's a spiral. Maturation, spiritual evolution is a spiral. Spiritual growth is a spiral. And you go back down lower than you spiraled up to, so that you can check out what you forgot about or didn't, skipped over, when cleansing the subconscious mind, as well as in meditating and following Swami's teachings. It's always good to go back to the beginning and reread the original words and the original teachings and the original way to meditate. There's several, 7 to actually 9 different ways that Swami shared with us to meditate. So we're going to go back to the beginning of meditation tonight and see if we understand all of those simple ways, because the only way to know the oneness of love through meditation and spiritual awareness of the inner self is to be very simple and be humbled by the fact that we may have forgotten along the way about the simple things of meditating. The path is full of humility. The path has to be full of humility, something that I'm still working on, obviously. But the Swami constantly humbles us. That's what darshan was all about all the time. That humbling of the ego. So if along the way you have a question, please feel free to ask it. Open the mic, ask away. We're happy to answer it. We're going to meditate tonight, but first we're going to talk about these basic teachings, and I'll leave it up to Roseanne to start.
So when we were in India, we used to every day go through one of Swami's teachings about meditation. And once a month we have this. And so we have to fill in the work that has to be done through the month. So this is what Swami says about what we should do to help our meditation. And through the most important thing is stilling the mind. So he says the Upanishads announce certain sadhanas to get rid of the constant inner dialogue, which is an obstacle. The first is the regulation of the breath, pranayama. This is no gymnastics, nor a formidable exercise. The mind has to concentrate on the period of retention, on the process of inhaling and exhaling. When attention is fixed thus, the inner talk on other irrelevant matters will end and mental strength is acquired. And then he goes on to talk about selfless service, and then I'll read the second part because that's what we're going to do in terms of the meditation.
Can everybody hear us when we're speaking? Is the volume fine?
Yeah, put your hand up if you can't hear me. So, when one's thoughts are engaged, the mind turns away from the talk it indulges in. Again, the sadness of listening to spiritual advice, reflecting on them, and discovering ways and means of confirming faith in the spirit. Also, of recital of the names of God and the withdrawing of the mind from sensual pursuits, japa and tapa, have been prescribed more for the silencing of this mental chatter. So I think everyone who tries to meditate knows that the mental chatter is ongoing. And it's something that has to be worked with always. I remember when I first started meditating on my breath, it was very hard. I could only do it for about 10 minutes a day when I was a 20-year-old. And I could go on forever, thinking a mantra, but then to add the breath in and to pay attention to the breath took a tremendous amount of concentration for me, and it was hard. And then it got easier and easier, and it's just a matter of the constant, okay, now you add all day long, you say your mantra all the time, you pay attention to your breathing. And in meditation especially, the pranayama that Swami teaches, and the repetition of the name, and devotion and bhakti of the form, these all help us to concentrate. Just this morning, I would have said in my meditation that I was having a kind of a so-so meditation, but then when I came out, Al said he was sorry to put the radio on. I said, I didn't hear any radio. So it does, after a while, the concentration does come. So I was happy to know that I actually was meditating, because I didn't notice it. It becomes sort of second nature, and it's something that is wonderful, that once in a while we find out, oh, I was actually so concentrated, I didn't hear anything else. So we're gonna just go, as Al said, we're gonna do the beginning steps, just so that to make sure that we understand them, and that there's always layers of understanding that are added deeper and deeper and deeper in these seemingly simple things.
So let's go into the nature of the mind. As Swami says, you got to silence it. But if you directly force it to silence itself, it'll fight back more ferociously than a tiger in a jungle trying to get captured. So you got to understand the mind's way is to slip by it. The way of sadhana is slipping by the mind. So we distract it with something more pleasurable. So japa is more pleasurable. Saying the name of God and singing bhajans, for instance, is more pleasurable than following the mind's jungle of thoughts and feelings and endless self-talk and chatter, as Swami puts it. So the fact of the matter is, we do japa. We can, do 108 names. But the fact is, why do we do 108 names? Swami says, because maybe one of those times we actually do it with enough love to attract God's attention. And maybe more often than that. The best way to do japa is not to use beads. The best way to do japa is just say the name of God whenever you remember. Go through the day saying Om Shri Sai Ram, or Om Namo Narayana, or Om Namah Shivaya, or Om Hare Krishna, or whatever you would like. Take any name, take any form. And love and adore it, and remember the name throughout the day and night whenever you remember the name. And eventually, there's a state of consciousness in which you'll be saying it while you're sleeping at night. And there's a certain name in Sanskrit for those yogis who can do that. And then some of them have done it. And women are amongst them very prominently. And I know some people that happens to. They just say the name in the night while they're sleeping. Their mind's just on it all the time. But they don't use beads. Because what? Beads are counting. Who wants to count? I've said 1,008 names of God. So what? Do you think that impresses God? How many names have you said correctly with love? So it's still, until you really start saying it out of your heart, out of your soul, shining through your heart. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namo Narayana, Om Shri Sai Ram, Om Sai Babaji, Om Sai Krishna, Om Sai Rama, Om, and you're singing the bhajans from your heart. It's not going to happen. It's just a mental practice. Otherwise, mental practice never, ever leads to God. Mental practice always calms the mind down, but that calming of the mind down is so that the soul can shine forth out of love. But if you're saying the mental practice without the love, it's not going to happen.
The only thing that is important is if you're having a really hard time and you need your beads just to be able to get your mind off of the problem, then definitely they're worthwhile. It's not an all or nothing thing, but you have to go beyond the repetition, the rote part of it.
So first you use the beads, because Swami gives that indication to us. I have a set of beads that Swami blessed, and I use them occasionally. And I used them a lot in the beginning. But then you go beyond the beads. So then what happens? The mind is always going to chatter. People think in totally, yogis that are almost there, almost at oneness with Brahman, like the great yogis of the past. On the way, they still had a mind that chattered. They just didn't pay attention to it. The clouds, the sky still has clouds in it. Doesn't affect the sky. Will have, because you're a human being, occasional thoughts in the mind. It doesn't affect your realization, your level of awareness. Your level of awareness is with the soul. I am God. I am not different from God. I am the indivisible, supreme absolute. I am Satchitananda, truth, consciousness, bliss, grief, and anxiety can never affect me. I am ever content. Fear cannot enter me. Why? Because I am God. I am not different from God, and God has no fear. God has no anxiety. That's the truth of us. So that's the teachings we got from Swami, and you have to have full faith in that when you do your sadhana, when you do your meditation, when we do our japa. So that's name, and form is a visualization of that form that we're saying the name of in our heart. But you don't have to do the form. You can just do the name. We know fully realized beings that just said the name. They didn't do the form. They just said the name all the time. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om Shri Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om Shri Sai, Jai Ram, Sri Sai Ram, Om, however you want to do it. As often as you want to do it. Because eventually that vibratory rate takes over and the mind becomes calm. And when the mind becomes calm, like a still lake, the glory of your own God self within your own heart shines forth. And that, when that happens, your mind locks on like a laser. You really don't need to control the mind. It's locked in. It's really not there. It's overshadowed, and the vibratory rate is so high that the mind's mishigas, as we put it in Judaism, isn't there. You're beyond it. It doesn't matter.
So there's the lower mind, the manas, that's the chattery one, and then the buddhi, which is the higher mind, and that is going into contemplation or the higher thoughts. During the day, you might have more purified thoughts, and then eventually you go beyond even the buddhi into no thoughts, into just intuition of directly from God.
So along the way, we say this mantra: our mind becomes calmer and calmer, calmer. The inner glory of God starts becoming our vibratory rate. We get immersed in that, and then go beyond it all into pure awareness, which is the essential quality of the absolute. We are that, the indivisible, supreme absolute. Swami tells us that. We were never born and we will never die. So you have to, why am I meditating? To know that I was never born and I will never die. To know that I am embodiment of the absolute. How does that happen? You can't make it happen. So concentration leads to contemplation. Concentration is Om Shri Sai Ram, Om Hari Ram, Om Hari Krishna, Om Sai Ram, whatever your mantra may be, whatever name you love, whatever form you want to adore, see that in your heart, bursting forth, filling your whole temple of the body, if you like, filling your entire consciousness, because that's God. And then let it go and think about the glory that that embodied form is, the glory that that name signifies. That's contemplation. What does that mean in terms of me? I am that. Oh my God, we are one. I love God. I love God. That's contemplation. Contemplation leads beyond the senses, beyond the mind, to meditation. Meditation, the whole process is named after the state of consciousness that is known as beyond the senses, beyond the mind, meditation, meditational consciousness. In that state, meditational consciousness, aham brahmasmi, that's who I am. And then you come out. And what takes over in the meantime? The vasanas. What are the vasanas? The seed desires of the past lives that we've tried to let go of, let go of, let go of. Actually, we are letting go of them, except they're very insidious. They, as human beings, we have reproductive needs, and we have this biological instinct to reproduce. You want to see some vasana? That's the hardest one to overcome. That's the last one that goes, because it's nature of the body to want to reproduce. Since we were on the planet as whatever we were at the beginning, amoebas or worms or whatever it was, or maybe gods and goddesses, if that's your case, it might be. But even the gods and goddesses have ego that they had to transcend. They thought they were so wonderful because they had so much power, and that had to be transcended too, that ego. So even all the gods and goddesses, once upon a time, were not liberated. All of them. And they got there pretty quickly in most cases, Shiva, Vishnu, Brahma. But here we are, and the ego's been around a long time. So those vasanas have been there with the ego as long as the ego has been. And so don't get impatient, because Swami says the only thing you need on this path is patience. Patience, persistence, patience, perseverance, and all things will come. Even the smallest grains of sand on the biggest and last beaches of the planet will all be liberated one day. And so it's not, you're not a grain of sand anymore. We're not grains of sand, we're human beings, the highest embodiment of the consciousness on the planet that we can have as a living being. So we've come a long way so far. That's a very short time left till we are totally free. You have to have the faith, the spiritual intensity that's born of the belief that I can make it, I can do it, if I just follow Swami's teachings and persevere. Perseverance furthers in sadhana, always. So one of the other ways to concentrate the mind is a very practical method, following the breath, breathing in, so, holding it, breathing out, hum. You don't have to hold it for long. You don't have to turn blue in the face, just to, enough to know that the in-between, the inhalation, the exhalation is all God. And then in that silence of the in-between of the inhalation, the exhalation, God exists. Just like the white screen exists behind the movies that we watch, the silence of the mind exists behind all our thoughts and feelings. And the silence of the mind exists in the breath. The silence of the mind reveals God. Something has to fill that, and what fills it is pure awareness, the oneness of love. So we're going to meditate in this way tonight. But I want to read something before we do. And this was a letter to Hilda, which I think I've read before here. Sai Prasanna, have I read this letter before here? Hilda, here with my blessings. Because after our beloved teacher, who had spent a year with Swami personally in 1965-66, and Swami said, "No more births, Hilda. A diamond is a very precious stone, but a diamond is the greatest treasure in the universe." And he said, "You have no more mind. It's gone." And she didn't. Swami sent me back and Roseanne back to help take care of her, and she didn't have a mind. I asked her, "Where do you think about it? How do you know what to do day to day or time to time? Or how do you plan a schedule?" She said, "I get it from here. I don't get it from here. I get it from here." I couldn't comprehend that at the time, and slowly but surely I'm trying to comprehend it. I'm trying to understand it, and maybe a little bit has sunk in since then. But in 1969, on actually September 20th, which is coming up, and on that day, Swami wrote a letter to Hilda. It's typed. Here it is. with Swami stationery on.
And probably by Dr. Historic. I think he did the typing.
Oh, okay. Hilda, herewith my blessings. I know all about the classes in dhyana and pranayama, which you are holding in New York. Convey my blessings to all who are attending and to all devotees there. Sadhaks must also cultivate love and the spirit of selfless service. Success in dhyana and pranayama is to be measured not only by the betterment of physical and mental health, but more by the depth of equanimity gained and the extent of sympathy that wells up from the heart. Dhyana must reveal to the aspirant that all are entities in the same principle of existence, sat. All are concretized thoughts in the same consciousness, chit. And all are waves of the same sea of ananda, bliss. It is ignorance, the ego, that persuades each one to believe that others are separate and even opposed. It is this delusion that causes sorrow and makes man toss from pleasure to pain and from joy to grief, instead of being an unruffled spectator of both. Seekers have to dive into themselves and discover the inner spring of bliss, the inner spark of immortality. They will look upon the universe as the body of the Lord and revere every single being and things as sustained by God. Through loving thoughts, loving words, and loving deeds, they cultivate love towards God's handiwork and God. I always lay emphasis on love as the path to God. Let the eyes shed love as kum. Let the heart, saturated with love, be soft as butter. Let the tongue, urged by love, speak sweet as honey. Dhyana on the supreme will bring about, dhyana on the supreme, dhyana on the supreme will bring about this transformation as more and more progress is made. My blessings are with all those who are making such spiritual effort. I bless that they may have steadfast faith. With blessings, Baba. So that's to all of us, that letter. When we hear that letter, that's a letter Swami wrote to us. He gave it to Hilda to give to us. So we should take it to heart as well. As if Swami wrote that letter personally to each and every one of us. Now, let's go to meditate. It's about that time. Let's consider how we meditate. The mind is always going to think about things. That's its nature, to know everything about everything, so we're safe. That's it. Kind of is like the blob, and it just takes over everything. It didn't stick to its knowing we're safe, knowing we have food, knowing we have shelter. It didn't stick to only that. It just took over everything. I mean, it's just like that. That's the way it is, and that's the way the ego is. But we want to reverse that, and we are reversing that. So we can't control the mind and say, okay, stop. You know, that's just going to end up with subconscious guerrilla warfare. And the mind will always win. Has its way like that. However, the mind will also wander around whenever any stress is dissolved. What is stress? Karma. So there's another word for karma. It's the Western word for karma. When any karma of the past is dissolving by the grace of God and meditational sadhana and other sadhanas, the mind goes into thoughts and feelings. So for two reasons, the mind will wander around in meditation. One is because it's its nature. Secondly, it's because you're doing the meditation correctly and the karma is dissolving. The result of melting ice is water flowing, and that forms thoughts and feelings in the mind. So either way, who cares? Who's the one meditating? Swami's the only doer. And he said that directly to Roseanne and I and many, many thousands of others. And Swami's the only doer. Swami said, each and every blade of the grass blows in the wind exactly as I will it. There are no victims. Everything that happens has a reason. You can't know it. Humans cannot know it. But God knows the reason. This is exactly his words that he said to us in 1980. The fact of the matter is, He reaffirmed that in 1990 directly to us. When we asked him, he reaffirmed that afterward in many other ways, in many other interviews with many other people. So, who's the meditator? Who's the one meditating? Not me. There is no me. There's only God doing everything. There is no you and I. There's only SSSIO. So, let Baba inside you meditate. Say, God, you meditate within me. I don't know how to do it. You do it. First step. That's the first step of meditation. You do it. Now, okay, all I have to do is keep the body quiet, follow my breath, so breathing in, hold it, hum breathing out. You can do it through your heart center, because I like that, because if we imagine we have a nose in the center of our heart center, a spiritual heart center where we point to ourselves as me, this heart has to open. That's how it happens. It has to stay open, as wide as humanly possible, as God divinely wills. And if we pay attention to that and put energy in it, it will open. And it has to be open for us to grow spiritually. You can't grow spiritually with a clamshelled heart. It's not possible. So that's why I like breathing in through the heart, breathing out through the heart. But Swami said you could also do it here, where your nose meets your upper lip, for concentration. That helps the mind calm down. But you got to have an open heart for the mind to calm down. So first open the heart, then you can concentrate on where your nose meets your upper lip if you like. I mean, I never do it, but that's, preference by individual. It doesn't matter. From here, Soham, we have the whole temple of the body lit up with the reality of I am that. That's what Soham means. I am that I am. And the breath says it throughout the day, 20,000 times or more. Maybe you play football or soccer, and then it's saying it more, or tennis. Then you're saying it more, and you're saying it 24,000 times a day. Or aerobics, if you run, you're saying it 26,000 times a day. Whatever it may be, So, And when the mind stays on that, it gets tired of the lower vibration, and it doesn't go there. It calms the mind down. When the mind calms down, and you think, I am that, I am that. What does that mean? I'm immortal, I'm eternal. I was never born and I will never die. Who am I? Oh, there it happens. Well, maybe it doesn't. Eventually it does. Eventually it has to happen. That's God's guarantee. Every grain of sand on the last beach of the last universe of whatever will be one with God, not just the earth. So, let's do it, all right? Any questions so far? And remember, you don't pay attention. Oh, good question. Unmute yourself and let's go.
Can you make this letter available as an attachment to us?
I'll send it to Sai Prasanna. She can
Oh, we
distribute.
have it, Sister Carola. I put the link on the Zoom in the chat because Brother Al shared it the first time he read it to us. So I have it on Google Drive and you can download it from there.
I don't know how to do that.
Okay,
Google.
I will attach it and send it to you if you can put your email address in an email.
You have it, but okay.
I have everyone's email. I don't know who's who, but probably I'll send an email to everyone with the attachment. I'll do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sairam, thank you. So one thing, when the mind wanders, we don't pay attention to it. We just let it do its thing. Who cares? I'm not my mind. I'm not my thoughts. I'm not my feelings. They are clouds in the sky of consciousness, and consciousness is God. And the source of the sky. Now that's the truth that sets us free. So thoughts and feelings, I don't care what goes through this mind. I'm not paying any attention to it. It can think about the most murderous, god-awful thoughts in the universe. I don't care about that at all. I don't care. Negative, positive, it's all the same to me. Clouds in the sky, stormy or, just partly cloudy. It doesn't matter to me because I'm not that. Does it matter to you? And if it does matter to you, when will it not matter to you anymore? When will you not allow the thoughts and feelings that pass through your mind be defining your inner state of well-being and consciousness and mood. We learn all these things as we live life on earth, because earth life teaches us that we are not that. We are the eternal, indivisible, supreme, absolute. Satchitananda, truth, consciousness, bliss. Grief and anxiety, they can never affect me. I am ever content. Fear, false evidence appearing real. Fear cannot enter me. Not possible. Because I am God. I am not different from God. And that's what Swami affirms to us. I am the indivisible, supreme, absolute. Satchitananda. Truth, consciousness, bliss. That's each and every one of us. No exceptions, sorry. There's no, some of the popcorns pop and the others are left in the bowl. There's no such thing in that spiritually. So, God, affirm the reality. Go ahead. Yes.
I just want to share an experience which is related to what you're talking about. In one interview, Baba asked me, how's your sadhana? I was doing Kriya Yoga in those days, very, very seriously. I would get up at 2 a.m. and do for 2-3 hours. And even the chant, it seemed as if it was vibrating through the walls of my prayer room. It had become so strong. And if I fell asleep at 2 a.m., I would feel somebody's coming and waking me up to do my Kriya Yoga meditation. So when Baba asked me, what are you doing? I said, Baba, I do Kriya Yoga meditation. And in that, I said, we have to concentrate either on the Agnya chakra or the Sahasrara chakra. And he said, what is the need? It's all here. And he pointed to the heart. It's all here. So I stopped doing that. That another time, I was in the back of the room and in an interview room, and Baba said, doctor, come here. No, he said, doctor, what do you want? And I had practiced this because I wasn't sure. I remember what Vivekananda said to Mother Kali when she gave him darshan, asked, what do you want? So I didn't fully understand, so I added one more sentence. I said, Baba, I want self-realization, God realization, detachment and liberation, and constant contact with you. So he said, come here, doctor. And he smiled. And he materialized a japa mala for me, that transparent sphatika. And he showed me how to use it. I already knew how to use it. So I had that. And occasionally I use that, but generally I just do it throughout without that. When I'm up and I feel like during daytime or something, or when I'm going to sleep, I repeat his name, I say my prayer. And I feel as if he lives me in this house. In the morning, I have my cup of tea, I sit down in front of his picture, and I talk to him, as if he's really there. And most of my time is spent in gratitude. Thank you. For every time I have a problem, I may become anxious, but he takes care of it. It just gets taken care of. And so I feel very, very grateful. But it relates to what you were saying, it's all here in the heart. And I feel when I'm sometimes also meditate that this body is his body, this is his heart, this is his face, these are his arms, these are his legs, and these are his feet, that I totally try to feel that he and I are one. And that's what I try to do. And it does make me feel good, and I feel as if he lives with me. But I haven't, there are still times when I become anxious about something, and then it's taken care of. I just want to share that because it relates to whatever you were talking, it's all in the heart. What is the need of doing something and feeling he's in us and everyone. And I have noticed one thing. I used to be very tough, that my heart has opened up. I just come to tears very quickly when I see something on the TV or I see it moves me. So
Beautiful.
I don't know whether it's good or bad, but that's what
That is very good. Very good. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. So let's meditate upon that truth that sets us free. Let's close our eyes and we'll do 3 Oms and away we'll go. Thank you all for being here tonight and asking such good questions and sharing so many deep experiences like this. Oh. 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 Get comfortable with the back comfortably straight, head comfortably erect. Let go of the stress of the day in the shoulders. Let the stomach protrude, the shoulders droop, let the legs fall into the floor. Just relax. Keep the back comfortably straight, head comfortably erect, straight on the spine. Swami, you are the meditator. Within us, you meditate. Swami, you are the leader in the verbally led meditation. You speak to everyone. You use us to convey the spirit of oneness of love. Please, Swami, lead us in meditation. So let the mind calm down. Take about half a minute. Just settle in. And when you feel ready, follow the breath in through the heart center as if you have a nose in the center of the chest. Thinking so. Hold it for a minute. And when you feel comfortable, not forced, but comfortably hold it. Then let it out and think hum, H-U-M. Hum means I am that I am. Can also be spelled H-A-M, but it's still pronounced hum. I am that I am. When the mind wanders and you notice, no criticism or judgment of the mind is needed. It's just doing what it's supposed to be doing and what it's trained to do throughout many lives. But let go of that. Come back gently, easily, effortlessly to so breathing in, holding it, and then hum, breathing out. Let's do this for a few minutes together. Through the heart center, as if you have a nose in the center of the heart center, like Hanuman's heart. So coming back gently, easily, effortlessly when we realize our mind's wandered off. No criticism or judgment needed of the mind. So and that I am. So um so um now from here we can go into name and form, which Roseanne will be leading us in.
Keep watching the breath. Now, feel very firmly in your heart center. In that love, take the name of your beloved. Sai Baba. Whatever name you and form you worship, just use Sai Baba. This is his meditation. Om Sai Ra. Each breath, feel your heart expanding and say God's name. Om Sai Ram. My beloved. Om Shri Sai Ram. Feel the warmth of your heart melting. So much love. Om Shri Sai Ram. Feel the breath coming into your heart. It's becoming more and more soft and warm. Om Shri Sai Ram. Feel the love building. Each breath. Heart is pure and serene in this love. Om Shri Sai Ram. Feel the absolute stillness. As we breathe this love through our heart. Sympathy. Feel the love with each breath. There's no one outside of this love. Nothing outside of this love. Just breathe in this love. Om Shri Sai Ram. Om Shri Sai Ram. It's divine, pure love. Each breath. Heart is bursting with love. Shining with love and sympathy and compassion. See the world as Sai Baba sees it. Everything is perfect. All are divine. growing, evolving, loving. Feel the love as you breathe in. Om Shri Sai Ram. Oh, my beloved Bhagavan. There's nothing outside of you. Our hearts are bigger and bigger, blazing with light, love, compassion. Feel it burning within you, this heart, sacred heart of love. Go deeper inside your heart. Find the silence. Go deeper into this loving silence of the heart. Feel the love that has no beginning and no end. It's infinite. Feel its love. Om Shri Sai Ram, my beloved Bhagavan. Unity. Oh, my beloved Bhagavan. Shri Sakti Sai Baba. Feel the love. Unity. There's nothing outside of this love. Unity. Oneness. Oh, my beloved, there's no one separate. Picture Swami's form, his beautiful eyes shining within your heart. This love with 1,000 mothers. There's no separation. He knows everything about us. He knows because he is us. And he loves us without any conditions. There's nothing to do, nowhere to go. Just breathe the oneness, the beauty of love. Nothing outside. Only Swami. Oneness of love. Love. One indivisible self. We are this love. Oneness. Feel your heart expanding in love more and more. Om Shri Sai Ram. Oh, my beloved. Oh, my beloved Bhagavan. Lord Shri Sai Ram. Feel your heart opening wider and getting deeper and so sweet and loving. The smoothness of the air. Perfect love. Oneness. There's nothing outside. This love encompasses all. Oneness. Glory of God is within us. This love, this unity. Let it come forth in your heart blazing. The little light shining out everywhere. Feel this divinity rising within you into your throat chakra. Purifies our words and our taste buds. Purity. Purity of love. Feel this expansion of feel this divinity filling our ears. Perfect healing, perfect hearing. divinity. Feel your eyes are filled with this light. Same love that shines from Sai Baba's form shines from our eyes. Our oneness is so filling us that our eyes are perfect, shining with love. Feel like your brain is filling with this divine essence of love and unity, shining. No longer looks for separation. Sees the oneness, quiets the mind. Feel this wonderful oneness. Brain is calm and smooth, functioning perfectly. Feel it loving and shining, unity with our beloved Sai Baba. Oneness, it sees oneness, feels oneness, hears oneness. One without a second. Come to the top of your head and just rest there. Divine oneness. Just rest in that. from this wonderful oneness. We feel Swami's presence within us. We see his eyes shining with love. His beautiful hair, halo around his divine form. He is our inner actor. He does everything. There's nothing but perfection. Oh, look into his eyes. Know your perfection. See his beautiful orange robe. His hands are blessing us. Use your imagination to bow before his beautiful lotus feet. Take Padamskar, oneness of love flowing through us. Our bliss is his food. Feel the love. We don't have to do anything or be anything, just are already one. See his form. Remember his name. Remember our breath. Feel this breath of God flowing through you, through the body as we begin to come back into our body. Bring this divine love with us. This promise of love and perfection. This experience of love and perfection. Feel your breath in going, out going. Feel your chest. Feel how it expands your diaphragm as you breathe in. Taking all this love and light into your being, into your physical body. It's just filled with light. Feel your breath, breathe deeply. Nothing is outside of us. Come back to our rooms and our family and our home. Feel your breath. Feel your feet on the floor. Coming into the body firmly, bringing all this unity with us, all this oneness. This is our everyday experience, oneness, love, sympathy, compassion. Feel yourself breathing. We're divine beings, waves on the ocean of God. We know we're part of this divine ocean. And do our work for as long as God wants us to. And then we merge back into the ocean of God. Such divinity. Bring it into your body, into your brain. Feel your body, feel your hands. Feel your feet on the ground or in a chair. Just feel how wonderful it is to be alive. We thank God for these bodies, these hands that we can do God's work. Our mouths so we can say the words of God to console everyone we meet, to show love. Love is the only thing that exists. Feel your breath. Gently come into your body. Bring all this love with you. From the expanded space, we come nicely into our bodies. Perfection, perfection, perfection. Send this love into the world. To all those who are in mourning. Let them feel God's love. Those who are in fear, send them this divine surety and protection that we know is our birthright. I am not different from God. Send it out into this world. People are captured in cults, in their imaginations. Just send them love. No one has to be captured in anything. Just we're free. We give freedom. Breathe in very, very strongly. Feel yourself in your body. Feel your hands moving, feet on the floor, and gently, as you can, open your eyes. Let yourself open your eyes and thank God for this meditation, this divine company. We can all be together. When you feel ready, you can open your eyes.
We want to thank everybody for coming together tonight in the name of Swami, in the name of God. Love, both in ourselves and in all beings, that all beings may be happy, healthy, and wise. Dreams come true and their needs be met. May there be God's love and light established on earth in the golden age to come. We are all his instruments. Thank God for giving us this opportunity and the being coming together. Satsang for meditation. Jai Sai Ram.
Right on. Thank you, brother. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You're
I
welcome.
think everyone knows the next session because Brother Al has given us some dates that works for him, and I sent it in an email. So I will send a reminder before the next session. I can tell you now. I think it's in the email. We have. Oh, I have to check one email that I sent to everybody. So I'll send a follow-up.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you for all your
We'll
work.
meet next month at a time that's
October 26th.
October 20th. Tell others.
Yeah,
Share
please
with-
feel free to share it with all friends and family, and I will send it to all people that I know too. So the groups. So thank you so much, Brother Al, and thank you,
Oh,
Sister
thank you.
Roseanne. I'll just say 3 Samastalokas and we can end. Om Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti.
Shanti, Shanti.
Thank you, Sai Ram.
Thank you. Thank
One
you.
love,
you.
one life.